Good morning, dear students. Welcome to GC Advanced Level History by St. Moses, also sponsored by St. Anne's Medical Higher Institution and Training Hospital. Good. Now, today we are going to focus on questions and interpretations. If possible, we are going to give out the various points in each of the part of the questions, right? And the topic we are going to focus there today falls under section A, Cameroon History Paper 2, and that is question 2. And the topic is early missionaries in Cameroon, or the implementation of Christian missions in Cameroon. All possible questions and answers under this topic. That is our main focus today. Let's move to what really concerns us. June 2010 is the first question. What does the question say? For what factors favored and hindered Christian missionary activities on the Cameroon coast between 1840 and 1884? Question mark. That is the question, right? Now, to interpret this question, we need to identify our key term. And our key term here is favored and hindered. That word "and" makes our question already two-sided, right? Now, what is the interpretation of this question? This question is a two-sided question, asking for the factors which favor the activities of the English Baptist Missionary Society for the first part, and the obstacle to their activities for the second part. Factors that favor the activities of Christian missionary, you have, for example, the presence of the British at the coast. You have the presence of the British Navy who assisted them in the terms of security. You have the arrival of the British trading companies, which facilitated missionary activities. You have the determination of missionaries to spread the gospel. You have the Niger, or the failure of the Niger Expedition. Then you have the collaboration with the natives. These are the factors that encourage the planting of Christianity in Cameroon. Now, we move to the second part. The second part is we're examining the factors that hindered missionary activities or work against Christian missionaries on the Cameroon coast. Now, you have the difficulties of the missionary face in Cameroon was the harsh tropical climate. You have problems, you have which problem again? Problem of land. You have language barrier. You had problem of food. You have opposition of the natives, right? You have problem of transport and communication to carry out their mission. So the first part of this question, you are to give the factors that encourage Christian missionaries in Cameroon. And the second part of this question, you are to give the factors that hindered Christian missionary activities in Cameroon. So question 2 is June 2011 and June 2013, because they are the same question. Good. June 2011 says, how beneficial were the activities of the London Baptist Missionary Society from 1841 to 1884 in Cameroon? And June 2013 says, examine the impact of the activities of the London Baptist Missionary Society along the coast of Cameroon between 1840 and 1884. Good. Now, this question of June 2011 and June 2013 are the same question, as the question is requesting the candidate to bring out the consequence of the impact. We say how beneficial. That word beneficial can be changed to what? That can be changed to what? Merit, can be changed to what? Advantages, can be changed to not even the word advantages. How can I put it? Can be changed to positive impact, right? It's the same thing with June 2011 and June 2013 are the same question, because the request for what? Impact of the implanting of the London Baptist Missionary Society in Cameroon. For example, this is the interpretation. This question, right, is a two-sided question, asking for the positive impact for the first part and the negative impact of Christian missionary activities in Cameroon for the second part. Or this question is a two-sided question, asking how the activities of the London Baptist Missionary were beneficial in Cameroon, and the second part, how it was never beneficial. So now the first part of this question, you have to give the positive impact. For example, it led to the rapid conversion of the native to Christianity. The second part, through evangelization, the natives were trained and ordained as well catechists, priests, pastors, and evangelists. Meanwhile, missionary activity laid the foundation for the improvement of what? Health. The missionary also laid a foundation for what? Western education through the establishment of primary school before 1884. The missionary facilitated the complete abolition of slave trade. Finally, Christian missionary led to the founding of the Christian settlement colony of Victoria by Alfred Secker in 1858. Good. This is the first part. So the first part of this question, you have to give the positive impact or the beneficial part of the Christian missionary activities in Cameroon. And the second part, you give the negative impact or how the activities was not beneficial or were not beneficial. For example, missionary activities in Cameroon contributed to the destruction of some useful traditional and cultural value of the native. Missionary activities in Cameroon also led to the seizure of native land without adequate compensation. It promoted disunity among the native in Cameroon. Finally, the activities of the missionary paved the way for European colonization of Cameroon, leading to the imposition of harsh colonial policy, especially by the Germans when the territory was annexed in 1884. So the first part of these questions, you have to give the positive impact or how beneficial, and the second part of this question, negative impact and how it was never beneficial. Good. Now, you have June 2012, June 2014, the same question, right? It's just like June 2011 and June 2013. Right now, we are taking this one again, June 2012, 2014. They are the same question as a question request. How involved was the London Baptist Missionary Society in the socio-economic and political development of Cameroon during the period of 1841 to 1884? Or assess the achievement of the London Baptist Missionary Society along the Cameroon coast between 1841 and 1884. Dear candidate, take note, whenever you have the word how involved, when you see the word how involved, that question must be a two-sided. And when you see the question assess, that question too is also a two-sided. You are giving the good part and the bad part. So indirectly, these questions are the same question as they are what? Two-sided question. Focus. Two-sided question, right? Focus or center on the contributions of the London Baptist Missionary Society towards the socio-economic and political development of Cameroon for the first part, or the achievement. And the achievement of the London Baptist Missionary are seen at the level of what? Social, economic, and political development of Cameroon. This you are going to give it for the first part. And the second part of this question, you are going to give the limitations or obstacles of the London Baptist Missionary for the second part. So the first part of this question, you have to give how the London Baptist missionaries contributed to the socio-economic and political development of Cameroon. That is the achievement or how they were involved. And the second part, you have to give the limitations or obstacles of the London Baptist missionary for the second part. Now, the first part, the London Baptist missionary, right, have had the following achievement or were involved in the socio-economic and political development of Cameroon during the period in the following way. For example, you start with the social domain. In the social domain, the London Baptist Missionary Society did a lot in the domain of what? Evangelization. Then you explain, for example, they carry out evangelization through what? Through the conversion of natives from pagan to what? Christian values. Now, the second one here, the London Baptist Missionary also did a lot in the domain of what? Education, by opening what? Primary schools, which taught subject like what? Arithmetic, reading. Again, much was done in the domain of what? Health. For example, Alfred Secker opened a health center in Douala, which provided what? Which provided drugs to patients. Then, after finishing with the social domain, you move now to the economic domain. The missionary promoted what? Legitimate trade by introducing economic activities. Also, the missionary were taught new methods of, or the native were taught new methods of what? Agriculture, and new crops were introduced, such as pawpaw and avocado. Again, a court of justice was set up in Victoria with Mr. Alton Johnston as its president, which settled out dispute among traders. Done with the political domain, with the economic domain, we enter now into political domain. The founding of Victoria by Alfred Secker in August 1858 as a center of the London Baptist Missionary in West Africa was one of the greatest political achievements of the London Baptist Missionary. So the first part of this question, I repeat, you are given the achievement of the London Baptist Missionaries. And the achievement of the London Baptist Missionary are seen at the level of what? Social, economic, and political domain. We'll move now to the second part. The second part, right, we have to talk about the limitations, the obstacles, or the failure. For example, Christian missionaries were unable to reduce unchristian practice, which were against the Christian doctrine. Also, the activities of the London Baptist Missionary were limited at the coastal area and did not go beyond the immediate hinterland. The London Baptist Missionary discouraged some aspect of the native culture, even though they were not against Christian teaching. Then lastly, Christian missionaries occupied the best native land, which created problem between them and the native. So the first part of this question is to give the achievement of the London Baptist missionary, which is seen at the level of what? Social, economic, and political achievement, or how they were involved. And the second part of this question is to give the limitations or their failures in carrying out their activities in Cameroon. Good. As I was saying about St. Austin Medical Bilingual Higher Institute and Teaching Hospital, the motto is passion is fun, or achieving excellences together. And the school, right, is not a clandestine school. It operates with an authorization number, as you can see with the authorization there. It is located at Carrefour Jouvence. And for those of you who wish to acquire new or more information, or to get more information concerning the medical institution that trains people in the medical field, right, or in the medicine, you can contact this number 680 1682 51. I guarantee you, in this school, in this institution, they train the best nurse in Cameroon. I guarantee you that. Good. As I was saying about this school again, right? St. Austin Medical Bilingual Higher Institute is an institution that trained personnel in their medical field. This was founded by Dr. Chengwan, who is a medical laboratory specialist, right? Now, the school is found at Jouvence, Yaoundé, driven by the urge to fulfill the Great Commission of the Head of State, which is the 2035 emergency of the Republic of Cameroon, right? St. Austin provide collective education ground on medicine, moral and human values, and prepare young Cameroonians for a responsible life in society by impacting knowledge, skills, and character. In keeping with our fundamental objective, St. Austin set out to provide affordable and quality education in medical field to the masses. Hence, do not waste time, please. After your A-level, if you wish to continue in the medical field, please, and you need professional training, St. Austin Institution is just the best institution for you. As you can see, the uniforms of ladies as well as the uniforms of the male and females are there. Please, the school is a very, very big school, and this is a school that trains people very well in the medical field. The only medical school or institution seen with a medical hospital whereby students carry out their practicals in the hospital that is situated inside the school. Students carry out their practicals. After their practical, now when student goes out for internship, they master all what they have. They master all what they have to do. It becomes now, it helped them. It helped them seriously in doing the internship. Now those who are there to supervise them will no more tell them that this is for this is for this, because they master it very well through the practicals that they offer in the medical institution, through the medical hospital. So, dear candidate, after your A-level, don't hesitate. Join St. Austin Medical Bilingual Higher Institute and it will train you more. Thank you very much. June 2015. What challenges confronted the early missionaries in their evangelization mission along the coast of Cameroon before 1884? Now, this question is not complicated. The word "what challenges" make our question to be what? A straightforward question, centered on the challenges or problem that confronted the early missionaries in their evangelization mission along the Cameroon coast before 1884. We're going to talk about the challenges or the problem. The missionary faced what? Problems of what? Native resistance. The missionaries face the problem of what? Inadequate finance. They face the problem of what? Diet or shortage of food. They face the problem of what? Health. They face the problem of what? Language. They face the problem of what? Lack of what? Roads and other means of communications. This is just what you are supposed to give, right? You're supposed to give, because this question is straightforward. Let me use the word one-sided, one-part question. Simple. June 2016. Examine the problem faced by the early Christian missionaries in Cameroon and at the attempts made to overcome them. Now, you see that this June 2016 is coming like June 2015. June 2015 was just to what were the problem? One-sided, but June 2016 is a two-sided question. The first part, you have to give the problems that the missionary faced in Cameroon, and the second part, you have to give the attempts made to overcome this problem. For example, we saw the problem in June 2015, which is they face the problem of native resistance, they face the problem of inadequate fund, they face the problem of food shortage, they face the problem of serious health, language barrier, and lack of roads. Now, the second part of this question, you have to give the attempts made to solve the problem faced by the early Christian missionaries in Cameroon, right? You have to give the attempt, how did they solve the problem of native resistance? How they solve the problem of language barrier? How they solve the problem of health? How they solve the problem of dispute among the missionaries? How they solve the problem of inadequate staff? How they solve the problem of shortage of food? How they solve the problems of health, as we spoke about it already, right? Now, this is how you're supposed to do it. So the first part, the problems, and the second part, the solution to the problem for June 2016. Now, test yourself exercise. After listening to this audio, to these videos, pardon, right? Try to find out if you can answer this question. For example, critically examine the evangelistic and educational activities of the London Baptist missionaries in Cameroon between 1844 and 1884, or examine the ease with which the early missionaries succeeded along the Cameroon coast but failed to extend into the interior before 1884. Try to find out if you can test yourself by answering these questions without any problem. I am waiting for your various answers through my WhatsApp contact 681350328 for those who want to join the group and provide me the answer. Thank you very much. This was presented to you by Sir Moses and was sponsored by St. Austin Medical Institution.